This is Straight Talk with Atlanta native Greg Fann, the preacher man, and his sidekick Shanan Jones. Frank discussions of issues affecting the ATL, Fulton County, the state of Georgia, the nation, and around the world. And now, here they are, live and in living color, the team of Jones and Fann, the preacher man.
Well, welcome again to another edition of Straight Talk with yours to the Greg Fann, the preacher man. And preacher here be like, I told you, didn't I tell you? I don't know what Shanan is. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's doing the weather. I don't know if he's doing traffic. I don't know what he's doing. But whatever he's doing, I hope he's enjoying whatever he's doing, wherever he's doing it at. And he'll be able to tell us once he come back what he was doing. Okay?
Absolutely.
But I'm glad to have you again this week, Bishop. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good. Look, I got a suggestion for the show.
Okay,
let's consider this.
Okay.
Let's call it Straight Talk with Bishop Aaron Lackey and Greg Fann. What you think? What you think about that?
This is what I think about it. I'm going to call it Straight Talk with Greg Fann, the preacher man, and Shanan E. Jones.
Okay, I'm just sure, man. I was just trying to see. You know, I just
You're still trying to get your check.
Yeah, man.
But I keep telling you, ain't no check. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just testing the waters.
But thank you so much, man, for being with me again this week.
Oh, bless you, man.
On Straight Talk. We're going to have the mayor of South Fulton, Bill Edwards. He'll be on the program. We had Mayor Elizabeth Carr-Hurst last week. Great interview with Liz last week.
Really was.
Knowing the things that she's doing and has done in Fann, and especially that water thing.
Yeah, man, that was powerful.
That's going to be something good for the city. Not only for Fann, but for Union City and Palmetto.
Palmetto, yes.
Yeah. So thank you, Mayor Hurst, for the work that you're doing. And we'll have Bill Evans to talk about his work in South Fulton and what he's doing and what he's been doing in South Fulton on today. And we'll be back with that after this talk with Miss C and her news. Hey, Miss C.
Hi, Miss C here with your 3-minute news blast on Straight Talk with Greg Fann and Shanan Jones. All right. Temple of Prayer Family Worship Cathedral, in conjunction with Aaron Lackey Ministries, will hold a contactless drive-through Christmas giveaway December the 11th from 10 to 2 and December 12th from 1 to 4. Registration is required, and there's 3 ways that you can register. You can go online to www.aaronlackey.org. You can send an email to admin@templeofprayerchurch.org, or you can call them at 404-500-7234 or 770-742-8913. Now, you got to hurry because the registration deadline is December 5th. Temple of Prayer Family Worship Cathedral is located at 161 Sonoya Road in Fairburn. You can get your eat on. In His Great Name Ministry will hold their 16th annual Thanksgiving dinner on Thanksgiving Day from 10 to 1 at 81 Dodge Street in Fairburn, Georgia. There's going to be drive-through and carry-out dinners. They're also going to be helping out the seniors and those that are disabled, and they have closed by appointment. Call them at 770-964-8364. That's 770-964-8364. Okay. Telesavvy at Home would like for you to be involved in their online caregiver study. Telesavvy at Home provides dementia caregivers with the needed skills, knowledge, and confidence to provide care to community-dwelling individuals living with dementia. Now, you have to be eligible, and you have to be eligible according to their criteria. It would include you are a family or a friend providing care to a person living with dementia. You have never participated in any version of Savvy or Telesavvy caregiver programs. You have internet access, and you have to be able to read and understand English, Greg. Okay. Again, if you're interested in Telesavvy, log on to Telesavvy, that's TELE-SAVVY.home@emory.edu. Call them at 404-251-0078. That's 404-251-0078. 0078 for the Telesavvy online caregiver study. All right. Shady Grove Baptist Church invites you to worship with them online on Facebook Live every Sunday at 11 a.m. They also invite you to join them weekly on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. for their inspirational conference call. Now, the conference line number is 917-900-1022, and the access code is 404-755-4332. That's 917-900-1022, and the access code is 404-755-4332, and that's for the Shady Grove Baptist Church Inspirational Conference Call. Now, one thing I would like for you to do for me, would you please subscribe to our channel? Just look down there and you'll see subscribe, and just press, and you'll be subscribed to our channel. And also like us also on YouTube, please. Now, that's going to do it for my 3-minute or more news blast. And back to Bishop Reverend Gregory Fann, the preacher man, and Shanan Jones. See you next time.
If you'd like to have your news and information shared here on Straight Talk, all you have to do is just email Mrs. C at straighttalknews1362@gmail.com. That's straighttalknews1362@gmail.com. Or you can call her at area code 678-462-7392. That's 678-462-7392. That's Ms. C, and that's news. And this ain't nothing but straight talk. Well, I'm here with a young man I've been known for a few years. How long have I been knowing you, Bill?
Too long. I was a young man then.
We both were young men. But I'm here with Mayor Bill Evans from South Fulton, that great city of South Fulton, where he is the mayor. And of course, you know, he's been around for a long time in politics. Mm-hmm. And Bill, I want to talk a little bit, you know, honestly, really, you know, we cut up a lot.
Yeah.
But you started years ago, you ran years ago for senator. Was it senator?
No, I ran for senator many years ago. Against Donzella. Yeah. And there was another doctor, Dr. Williams, and there was 3 of us.
Right.
And Donzella won, and I remember calling Donzella and telling her, you know, you're my senator, and I ain't thinking about doing this again.
Right.
And I didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
You did.
She's done an outstanding job.
Then you came along and ran later years and ran for Fulton County Commissioner and won.
I won in a field of about 14, as I remember, Greg.
Right.
We all was running. I was in a runoff then. Runoff seemed to kind of run with me. But I was in a runoff then with 14 other people, and I served with Fulton County government for 14 years.
Yeah, and did a great job too in terms of what you were doing for the citizens of South Fulton then as their representative.
Yeah.
And one of the things I do want people to know about Bill is that he didn't say it because the people think he's arrogant, but really he's not as arrogant as people think he is. But when Bill lost, he always spoke to his opponent. He always supported the winner, and he's always been the kind of person that don't hold grudges. Yeah. And I know that for a fact. He doesn't hold grudges, and he's really about South Fulton. He really loves South Fulton. Yeah. I mean, he really has. You've done that for years. Talk about about Parent University.
Yeah, you know, when we were, well, you know, before I became in politics, I was the president of Old National Merchants Association for 13 years.
Right.
And we did some outstanding things because Old National at that time was in transition. There was some white flag moving out, and we had all kinds of stuff going on over there. Sure. And so a bunch of merchants got together and started an organization. We were depending upon each other, and we were the people you had to come to if you're going to do anything on Old National.
Sure.
And so we were very strong. I mean, you came before Fulton County to put something on Old National, the first thing they're going to ask you was, have you been to the Mercy Association? So in that realm, you know, I told the merchants, you know, we got to start reaching out to the existing community, what the needs are, because they are our customers.
Sure.
And from that point on, we started, well, the first thing we started was the Citizen University. And we were trying to get parents and students together to help them maneuver their way through the educational system. This was not to tell you how to raise your child. We were just trying to get you to understand the process to get your child where you want to. And from there, we went on to what is called the out-of-school suspension program. When I put that in, along with Fulton County, we picked up 1,000 children in 1 year that was supposed to be in school.
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, that was a heck of a number. And so, you know, that organization was great. And I tell people all the time, you know, it was a merchants association, a group of merchants who actually had the wherewithal to do those kind of things.
And you did a great job too with that. And if I sound biased when I'm talking about Bill, I am biased.
Yeah.
Some people say, well, you know, Bill's your friend. He's my friend. I mean, I know what he has done. Yeah. I've seen him over the years. I'm not just talking about what people say, but I'm talking about what I know that you've done, and we've done things together over the years. And when you were in Fulton County, you worked with the employees, you made sure that they got raises, you make sure they got the things that they needed at that time when you were there. Always.
I remember coming into Fulton County, seeing you in a room with two other people, and y'all had to really tell people you were backing out from the desk, so you hit somebody. I said, "No, we got to change this. We got to change this." So.
Well, that's all.
And we did.
You're the business commissioner. They calling you there.
Yeah, they did. We changed it. But y'all was all in that tight room and doing public works, and you know, you got to make people come to work. You know, they want to be comfortable. You know, they want to be able to do what they got to do, and creating a good environment for them is just one of the pinnacles of what we do.
Well, I know personally the heart and compassion that you have for the people, and how you used to call me and call others and say, listen, you need to go out there, check this out. You need to do this. We need a sweeper. Where the sweeper's at, where this, where that. I mean, all that kind of concern for citizens and making sure that, and employees too, making sure that employees were treated right and that citizens were taken care of.
You tore my sweeper up every week.
Yeah. I didn't tell you to sweep up every week. The street tore up every week. But all those kinds of things that, you know, that I know personally that you did. And when you ran for mayor, I felt that you were the best fit for the job because you were already understood the area. You understood what was the needs for the area. And of course, now that you are the mayor and have been the mayor for the past almost 4 years now, setting up a new city, and with the experience that you have in running government and being in government, and I tell people say to me, well, Bill ain't done nothing. I said, if he ain't done but one thing, because of his relationships, you now have Fulton Industrial in your city, which is a major tax base for the cities of South Florida. Annually. Yes. Annually. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, let me tell you something, Greg. When I was commissioner, I woke up the next morning, got in my car, went down to Fulton County building, had my staff when we went to work. In 2017, I became mayor. I got up, I didn't have nowhere to go.
No way.
I didn't have no phone. I didn't have a desk. And so we had to really start building this city from basically nothing. The only employees we had was the 7 people who were on the city council. And we had to begin to build that. We entered into an agreement with Fulton County to provide us services for 12 months. I'm here to tell you that we transitioned those services in 10 months.
All right.
And then all except Public Works. You know, Public Works is a monster. You know about that.
I know about that.
And it's a monster. So we're still at this point, we're contracting Public Works, but we only do it until we can set up our own. Right. All right, so the contract is kind of open-ended that way. And then, you know, we've been a resilient city. You know, the first year we were here, we had an F1 tornado. That means like, oh my God, tornado. But I could tell you, people joined in with us. And I want to thank Mayor Liz Hurst, because she really came out with her people to help me as a new mayor to get over that stuff. So having those kind of relationships helped us a lot too. And then we had another hurricane. And then something jumped on us for 2 years. It was called COVID. Yeah. And so in going through all of that for 4 years, we've probably been the most resilient city in this region. Our finances are intact. Of course, our police department, everybody knows that. I mean, in the last 3 years, they're down 38% crime, and that's very, very good. We're beginning to bring other things in now to the city that we need, and so we've been just resilient, man, and we continue to climb. I think right now most of our tax income comes from on the backs of homeowners. So as I go into this next term, I want to really put a lot of emphasis on the commercial end of our city, because I can really reduce your taxes if I get a substantial amount on the commercial end.
Right.
Now, Fulton Industrial, let me just say this, I didn't get a dime on.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I lost $3 million.
Okay.
And the reason why I lost $3 million is because we contracted with Fulton County to provide fire services.
Okay.
Well, once we got the thing, that went away.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So the law says that a property that was in a city on January 1 stays in that city to January 1 of the next year.
Right. Right.
So we really won't see any substantial income from that area until next year, but we still service it.
Right. Right. Okay. That'll be January 22.
22.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that money gonna be coming in regularly every year.
Oh yes, it's not a one-time thing. I mean, we're looking at about somewhere in the area of 9 million now. All right, but I was just in a meeting today, and some other folks coming over want to build a warehouse on Fulton Industrial. I mean, the largest industrial area in the southeast, and they want to build something new there, and I'm very glad about that. Which means that $9 million could probably go up as the years go by.
You know, one of the things what we're talking about warehouses. One of the things people are complaining and talking a whole lot about all the warehouses that are in South Fulton, and I really want you to talk about that, because you know you were on the commission when you told me I would not have the ability to enact any of that in these points, any of that in these points,
Right.
that which I tried. But you told me you ain't getting none of this. But the reality of it is that we talk about the warehouses and where the warehouses are in South Fulton, and I think the delineation of the lines is a problem, because I work for Fulton County. It's a known. I work in public works, as Bill just alluded to, is that because when they started the annexations of these cities, which were Union City, started annexing around the area that you now have, is a lot of that was because we had problems trying to figure out where was Union City, where was still South Fulton at that time when it was South Fulton in terms of the county. Then the delineation of the lines, and I think that's where the problem lies, because people don't understand that when Union City annexed in that part into the city of Union City, they're responsible for those zonings and those kinds of things. So I'm gonna let you talk a little bit about that.
And I want people to listen to me and be clear about this whole issue with warehouses. The South Fulton Parkway, when we had it, was a developmental parkway, right? We were approached by Majestic, and as a result of that, we built 2 warehouses. One was Costco's, and the other one was Walmart, I think it is, right? And after thorough conversation, we said, that's where it stops. We will build no more warehouses from that point on past Mason High. So here's the thing. When you annex something, if it's not zoned properly for that use, then you have to wait a year, re-annex, and rezone it to get what you want. So here's the fallacy in what people are saying. If I had zoned it properly, why didn't you build? All right. No, you couldn't, because I didn't.
Right,
all right.
right.
And at the only other thing that I put on the parkway was a grocery store and shopping center. So if I had the ability to bring warehouses in, the question becomes, why didn't I do it?
Right.
All right.
When you was commissioned.
When I was commissioned,
Right,
right.
right, right.
So So what happens is Union City builds when it got a new zoning classification called TCMU, Town Center Mixed Use.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty good with the town center and the mixed use to a degree, but
Right.
it allowed for warehousing. And they began to bring in these humongous warehouses that are spec warehouses. Nobody leased them yet. Most of them are spec warehouses. And that's where I drew the line with the mayor.
Right.
And said, because people say, well, Bill, you letting all these, no, I'm not. I cannot tell a man what to do within the boundaries of his city. And that's up to him and the city council.
Right.
All right. However, my position is this. When what you're doing spills over into my city and you're causing me some problems,
Right.
then we need to go to, let's say come to Jesus on that issue. Yeah. All right. So that's where we have been.
Right.
The vision for the Parkway has been totally destroyed. I was the first vice president of the South Fulton Parkway Alliance.
Right.
And Fulton County, we had the same vision. That vision has been totally destroyed. The only thing we can do now, and it's what I'm working on, is to say stop. Stop right now. And see how much we consider what we already have. Because, the thing about it is, I can't tell you what to do with your land. But I sure can tell you when stuff goes beyond your boundary. For example, trucks don't live on your property. They got to come out of your property.
Right.
To come to my property.
Right.
To get out.
Right.
And if you've been on the Parkway lately around about 8 o'clock in the morning, ridiculous with 18-wheelers. Mm-hmm. We also as a city, we had to acknowledge some of our streets where 18-wheelers can't even go on. So that's where we are. I don't know how Bill Evans got into the fact that, Bill bought these warehouses. I did not bring the warehouses, and I wish I could make them disappear tomorrow. But that's where we are, and I want people to know that.
Right. Well, I appreciate that, and for you sharing it with them. And I thank you, too, for just being who you are.
Yeah.
And being straight up and honest. And I want to say this again, to those people who think that Bill is just too arrogant, and I hear it all the time, Bill is just too arrogant, Bill is too arrogant. Bill is Bill. He's not too arrogant. He's going to be the same today, same tomorrow, same whatever you're seeing, because that's just Bill. And he can't help it. That's who he is. That's just who he is. Yeah. And I've been around you for years and years and years and years, and we joke and we tease and with one another, but it's never been anything, that you've not been honest and upright with me. Like you told me, you're not going to get in it.
Well, you've been a good friend, and I can say that you don't agree with me on everything, and you tell me how you feel.
I do, and
that's what kind of friends you need. And so I may keep you around a little while. I don't know. I'm gonna think about it.
Hey, let me tell you something. He's been telling me that for years. But anything else you want to say before you go?
Listen, I just think this whole election is about a couple of things. One is the ability to serve. I don't think my opponent has had a favorable record in terms of service, in terms of the people. The other thing I think it's about is resources. When a mayor doesn't have a whole lot of power, mm-hmm. but he is the one who has the ability to negotiate deals to bring back to the council. So I pride myself. If I call Osloff tomorrow, if I call even Kemp, or if I call Warnock, they'll pick up the phone, Greg.
Right.
All right. Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of resources that you need to help you through where you are. When I got Fulton Industrial Boulevard, here's what I said to them. To my council, hush, let me handle it. And we got in there, and a lot of things has to go to Sonia Halpern, mm-hmm. rookie senator, but did an outstanding job in terms of helping us. For 3 years, we didn't get it.
Right.
When I went in, Greg, it passed the House and the Senate with one dissension. Now
Yeah, it is remarkable. But that's about having relationships too, right?
Yeah, you got to have a relationship. You can't go around cussing people out and everything. I tell folk all the time, you already jumping on the council. I mean the delegation. Well, the delegation is the one who grants you your charter.
Absolutely.
And once they give it, they can take it away.
Absolutely.
So it's all about relationships, man.
Well, I thank you so very much, and for all that you do for the citizens of South Fulton and for the South Fulton region as a whole. Not just South Fulton, but the South Fulton region as a whole. But we've had Bill Edwards here with us today, and listen, I am biased. He's my friend.
Thank you so much, Greg.
And the Preacher Man, right here on Straight Talk with Black History Facts with Brother James Broom.
This is organist, pianist, and choral conductor Graham Jackson. Graham Washington Jackson was born in Portsmouth, Virginia on February 22, 1903. Early on, Graham Jackson exhibited an incredible ability to master multiple instruments, and by the time he was in high school, he was already giving piano and organ concerts. Fortunately, a wealthy patron funded Graham Jackson at the college level, and when that patron died, Graham had to continue without further formal training until he moved to Georgia. After arriving in Atlanta, Graham Jackson was featured at the Royal Theater on Auburn Avenue and also at the Bailey's 81 Theater, which featured him playing their Kimball Theater organ. Not long after, Graham Jackson decided to restart his formal musical training, first at Morehouse College in Atlanta, then at Chicago Music College, later at La Jolla University in Chicago, and he finished at Atlanta University. In 1920, Graham Jackson joined the faculty of Booker T. Washington High School, and there he served as music director until 1940. Graham Jackson joined the Navy in 1942, and after playing several command performances, became a personal friend of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, and his wife, Eleanor Roosevelt. While serving in the Navy during World War II, Graham Jackson received 6 honorary citations for his war bonds fundraising efforts, which resulted in more than $3 million in contributions and boosted recruitment for the United States Navy as well. On the evening of April 12, 1945, President Roosevelt summoned Graham Jackson to the Little Whitehouse in Warm Springs, where they spent that evening going over music to be played for the president and his invited guests the following night. According to Jackson, the president made a point of wanting to end the festivities with a special rendition of a song called Going Home. Well, at approximately 1 p.m. the very next day, President Roosevelt died suddenly, and after Mrs. Roosevelt and family arrived, retrieved his body, placed it in a special train car to return him to Washington, D.C., Life magazine photographer Ed Clark snapped this now famous photo of Graham Jackson with his accordion, weeping uncontrollably as he played Going Home for the president one last time. Throughout the years, Graham Jackson became known as the Ambassador of Goodwill, and on November 30th, 1971, was named the official musician of the state of Georgia by then-Governor Jimmy Carter. He also formed and toured with the Graham Jackson Choir, which recorded on Westminster label, not to mention also being invited to the Fox Theater to play on their mammoth Moeller organ. In later years, he was featured entertainer at Pitty Pat's Porch in downtown Atlanta and at the Johnny Reb's Dixieland restaurant on Highway 41 in Marietta. Graham Jackson, along with his wife Helen and their 2 sons, Graham Jackson Jr. and Gerald Wayne Jackson, they built a home in Atlanta across the street from Booker T. Washington High School, and it was modeled in tribute to Franklin Roosevelt's home, the Little Whitehouse in Warm Springs. The street was also later renamed Whitehouse Drive, also in tribute to the late president. Graham Jackson died January 15, 1983, after suffering a stroke. He was 79 years old. That's Graham Jackson Sr. They forget all about him, but we won't.
It's been Black History Facts with Brother James Broom right here on Straight Talk. Join us each and every Friday from 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. with yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and Shanan E. Jones. And do share these Black History Facts with your family and friend, and do tune in to Straight Talk. Won't you? It ain't nothing but straight talk. Well, I tell you, it was a great interview with the mayor of South Fulton, Bill Edwards. I tell you, Bill has been around a while.
He really has,
He's been around a while, and a lot of people say, well, he's older now and he needs to step down. But, one of the things that I've said is that when you're setting up a city like South Fulton, and Bill was the commissioner for that area,
yes, sir,
for a lot of years, and understood and had relationships with other elected officials in the area, that he was the right fit for it, and still is, in my opinion, the right fit for it until I'm not saying that young people shouldn't step up to the plate, young people shouldn't run for office, but right now, when you're starting up something, you need somebody who has experience in terms of doing it, as opposed to someone who does not have that experience and don't have those relationships. And I say this all the time, is that in terms of relationships are important. Fulton Industrial Boulevard was in South Fulton and unincorporated South Fulton. That's where, Whitehouse, the trucking industry and everything, but for years.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So when they created the city, well, they kept it in unincorporated Fulton County. Well, because of his relationships and his work and tenacity to get it done, is that it's now a part of South Fulton. That's a major tax base for the city.
For the city,
South
it
Fulton.
really is.
So I think that because of his relationships, his understanding of it, is that he still is the person for it at this time to be the mayor of South Fulton. And a little biased there in my opinion with me, is I'm older too, but I just think that when you start having
Really?
Yes, I am. Matter of fact, he and I are probably about the same age.
Oh, get out of here.
Get out of here. Yeah. Well,
you look much older than him.
Well, thank you so very much. I appreciate you for telling me that he looks older than me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I think you got it mixed up.
What a friend
you got it mixed up.
What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins agreed to bear. What a friend we have in Bishop Black saying stuff like that. It's all good. I know I'm better looking, but I ain't gonna worry about that. He knows it too. But anyway, I just wanted to just say that because I think it's important that politics is pretty much about personality. It's really about people like you, don't like you, they vote you in. But you got to elect somebody who knows or have an idea, especially when you're starting something from scratch. You don't go out and start a bank and hire somebody who's never been in banking.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't open up a business and have somebody who never ran a business.
Yeah.
Never. You just don't do that. You find people who have the expertise and the skill to do it, and then you build teams around that individual or individuals to move your business forward or whatever it is that you're trying to do forward. But you want somebody who knows what they're doing when you're starting something. Because if you don't know and I don't know and they don't know and we don't know, guess what? We ain't gonna have nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what people seem to forget is the city is only 4 years old.
Sure.
And I'll never forget a meeting I was privy to that was sponsored by you. I believe they had just received their charter. And it was so funny. They had just received their charter and had the election, and Bill had just won the election. They didn't even have a letterhead, a fax machine. And people don't realize when we say they started from scratch with nothing. It was literally nothing. No letterhead, no office materials, nothing. And to see what this man has accomplished in a 4-year period, it's quite phenomenal. He, along with his council, is quite phenomenal.
Yeah, I just want to say that because those people have really, even though they've had disagreements,
absolutely,
they're still here. They're still here. So, but thanks to kudos off to Bill Edwards and the citizens of South Fulton, and also the other council members for the work that you've done and doing to keep South Fulton and move South Fulton forward as a city. It ain't no new city. It is a city. Yeah. We want to talk a little bit now, Bishop, about the Ahmaud Avery's trial and Mr. Rittenhouse trial. and it looks like, let's start off with Mr. Whitehouse first.
Yeah.
Mr. Whitehouse, when they had the I would say the riots in Wisconsin when the brother was killed, and it was in uproar in Wisconsin, and then they brought out the tankers and everything, and trying to, I guess, calm the crowd. But here we have Mr. Whitehouse, a citizen, who arms himself, and he goes out to, as he said, to protect the city and the citizens. But you're not a law enforcement. You don't have the authority to arrest power. You don't have any of that. But you walk around with this rifle, and the next thing you know, here comes not black individuals,
No.
but 3 white individuals, then of your own hue, and you kill them because you say you were threatened by them in your life. They had no weapon. They had no guns, no bats, no nothing. But you shoot and kill them, and you justify it by saying self-defense.
Yeah.
Self-defense. And looks like, from all the way it's going, I don't know how the trial's gonna turn out, but just his tears and all that other stuff.
Oh, he could cry now.
Oh,
Oh boy, he was like Jeremiah.
but he wasn't no prophet.
Yeah, he could cry.
Well, he just thought about what he was doing before he did it. Because those people can't come back. Their families have suffered because of the loss. And so, but it looks like, just listen to the trial, it looks like they're leaning toward trying to not convict them on those felony charges, but on misdemeanor
charges. Yeah.
So, but we'll see how this trial turn out.
And in all fairness to the jury, have you ever sat on a murder trial?
I have not.
I have been on one in my life, and it's different when you're on the jury for that type of thing, because what you're hearing and seeing is so limited. And so sometimes people they'll expect the jury to make a decision based on what they're seeing on CNN and Fox and MSNBC. But the jury, in that type of trial, I mean, they're only seeing just bits and pieces of things, and it's very controlled. Back at the time when I was on a jury, I still lived in Atlanta, and even the newspaper, they would give us all the articles related to it. They would cut those articles out, and so it was just different, man. And so you make your decision based strictly on what you've heard.
Evidence
And sometimes if that person has a good defense attorney, they've put in enough motions to where they're going to make sure the jury just does not hear the whole truth. And so, I don't know how it's going to go, but I've been there and I can empathize with the jury. They're going to normally do the best they can do with what they've heard, but most of the time they just honestly haven't heard it all. They just really haven't. They haven't heard what we hear on TV. So, I don't know.
Well, I mean, since that's been an experience of yours, and now you have, and we go into the Aubrey's case, you have 11 white jurors, 1 black juror, in a county that is known to be prejudiced and racist, right?
What?
Now you have the defense attorney saying that to the judge, we don't want black preachers coming in the courtroom intimidating the jury.
Yeah.
But also the facts of the case is that they're saying that this kid, that he was killed because they were defending themselves. Now clearly, Bishop, it's clearly. This is from where I sit. If you got a gun, I don't have a gun. You put a gun on me, I'm trying to defend myself from you with that gun, right? You pull the trigger, you kill me with the gun, then how is that self-defense? You had the gun. You had the most prevailing weapon
Absolutely.
in in this instance. Loaded, cocked, ready to go. But I had nothing but my two hands. So how is it self-defense? You defending yourself with a gun and all I have is my bare hand.
In this trial, I think things are going to come out okay. I really do. Even with the jury stacked against what we all know should be an equitable or a level playing field, I think it's going to be okay. Because the prosecution, at least from what I've seen, they've actually presented a really good case. And I don't know how the defense is going to counter all of the evidence that was shown. And one of the greatest enemies to those men is their own defense attorney, because he is just showing not only the world, but he's also showing the jury just the climate in that area. And so I think that one is going to turn out.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Time will tell. Listen, well, thank you, Bishop.
Thank you, man. Thanks for this opportunity again. Always an honor to be here with my friend. My friend, the Bishop, Gregory L. Fann. Greg Fann, the preacher man.
Okay, so you done told everybody. You done told. See, that's the kind of friend you have. You never knew that it was an L in my name, but he had to tell you.
You want me to tell him what the?
No, don't tell them nothing. You leave that on the table and let them wonder what it is. Okay? You wonder what it is now. Well, thank you so much for joining us right here with Straight Talk with Joseph the Great Fan, the Preacher Man, and Aaron B. Lackey Sr.
Well, thank you so much, Gregory L. Fann. Gregory L. Fann Sr.
See what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? You bring people on a show that's supposed to be your friend, and you see what they do. You see what they do, but that's all right.
And also, he gets sophisticated sometimes. Sometimes when I call him Greg, he wants us to call him Gregorio.
Oh, no, Bishop, don't say that. That ain't the truth. Now, that Bishop, you done.
All right, I'm just cutting up. I'm sorry. Gregorio.
That ain't the truth. That ain't true.
Like he's from Italy or somewhere. I don't know.
When we were down there at the thing for the Faith in Blue, and a young lady introduced me as Bishop G. I ain't never been
Bishop G.
I ain't never been introduced as Bishop G. But anyway.
Wow.
But we.
That sounds good though. Bishop G.L. Fann.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
Oh yeah, that'll work right there. The Bishop G.L. Fann.
Well, and let me just say this. I've enjoyed having you these past couple of weeks. So seriously though, I really have enjoyed you. It's been a great time sharing with you and everything on the program.
Bless you, man.
And we're gonna see you next week right here on Straight Talk with your truly great fan, the Preacher Man, and Shanan E. Jones. And he'll tell us all about his ventures, what he's been doing for the past 2 weeks. He'll lay it out to you. And thank Lady C, Miss C rather, for being our news person. And if you have news and information you want to give to, send it to her at straighttalk1362@gmail.com. She'll get it on for you. Any news or information, that's going on in the community, she'd love to do it. And once they happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and you enjoy your Thanksgiving, have your turkey time, family time with your family, and be safe out there. Be safe out there. And if you want to get me, you want to be on Straight Talk as a guest, you just go to fan922@comcast.net. Until next week, we ask you to join us. Be here, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, because this ain't been nothing but what? Straight Talk.
Want to be a guest on Straight Talk? Email Greg Fann at FANN922@comcast.net or call 404-308-0795. Join us again for another episode of Straight Talk with Shanan Jones and Greg Fann, the Preacher Man.